It's Thursday, December 11th, 2025. It is the 345th day of the year, and right now, a dangerous pattern flip is ushering in the coldest air of the season so far. We've got life-threatening wind chills on the way and a series of snow clippers that are going to surprise many of you. And then after that, we're going to be talking about the great thaw out of mid-December. So let's get right into it. We need to start off, though, talking about the most dangerous aspect of this forecast. The bottom is about to fall out of the thermometer for many of you in the northern plains and upper Midwest. We've been talking about this for days. This is what your thermometer could look like on Sunday morning. We're talking about 30 degrees below zero. That's the actual temperature, okay? That is life-threatening cold. We're talking about frostbite setting up within a couple of minutes if you go outside. And you got to remember, we're going to have these very strong winds coming down out of the north as well. We could be talking about 50 degrees below zero wind chills up here. It is just going to be downright cold up there in South Dakota and Minnesota. And look at this. We're talking about negative 15 around Fort Dodge and Des Moines. We're talking about negative 10 between Milwaukee and Chicago, all the way down here near Bloomington, Illinois, negative 10. We could be right around zero in Indianapolis, and these 0-degree temperatures could make it all the way down to Louisville, Kentucky. Now, we're also going to be cold in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, where it'll be near 20 degrees in the morning on Sunday. And then up here in the middle of Kansas, it'll be 15 degrees. Some of this cold air will also be making it up into the Northeast as well, especially upstate New York, where we will have negative temperatures up here north of Albany. But even Nashville, Tennessee could be around 15 degrees. And the only place east of the Rockies that's going to feel somewhat normal is the southern tip of Florida, where we're still going to be talking about temperatures in the 70s during the morning on Sunday, but everybody else is freezing their butts off. So especially if you're in the Twin Cities, Fargo, or Bismarck, Saturday night into Sunday morning is going to be brutal with wind chills that could strain power grids, and it could make vehicle breakdowns dangerous. Okay, if you've got to travel, you need a survival kit in your car, but otherwise don't be scared, be prepared. We've seen this coming for a while now, and now you've got time to get everything arranged so you can stay ahead of this. All right, now let's move along and talk about some of these clippers that are going to be coming down and bringing us snow. We've actually got another clipper to introduce to our series of clippers here, and I'll talk about that here in a minute, but let's just start off with today. We've got a slight risk for significant winter storm impacts from Pierre, South Dakota, over to Cedar Rapids, Davenport, down into Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and a little bit of Ohio. This is going to be a thin and sneaky stripe of snow with generally 2 to 4 inches of accumulation possible in a very quick hitting situation, where it starts in the northwest this afternoon and makes it down into the southeast this evening. And then as we go into the day 2 outlook, so this is tomorrow, you can see here that we still have a slight risk for portions of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and West Virginia. This first clipper is going to be leaving and kind of weakening before it gets to the I-95 corridor, so it's not really going to do much over here, even though it could leave a skiff of snow on Friday over here in Washington, D.C., for example. But our focus is going to shift back up here. Look at this. We've got another slight risk for Montana over into South Dakota. This is another clipper that's coming together here. And check out the day 3 outlook. A huge area from Montana all the way over to Maryland and Pennsylvania is under another slight risk of winter weather impacts, thanks to another clipper, which is going to be taking pretty much the same exact path as the one that's hitting tonight. Okay, so this one might be a little bit farther south, so we're talking about Sioux City and Des Moines this time, but down here in the Ohio Valley, it's going to be hitting a lot of the same areas. Let me show you what this looks like on the future radar. What am I talking about? So 7 p.m. tonight, we're going to be talking about a big stripe of snow setting up from Bismarck all the way down into Kentucky and Indiana. Around 7 p.m., the heaviest snow will likely be taking place between Springfield and Cedar Rapids. And when I say heavy snow, it's moderate, okay? It's not going to be falling like a blizzard or anything, but it will be falling, and it'll be cold enough to stick, and it's going to pile up about 2 to 4 inches. If you end up under the right band, there might be a couple places that squeeze out 5 inches from this. I wouldn't be surprised. And then as we go into 1 a.m., 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, the heavy snow actually moves over here into my neck of the woods, eastern Kentucky, central Kentucky, southern Ohio, into West Virginia. We're going to be talking about some moderate to heavy snow, putting down a couple inches over here, but you can see that it's still snowing all the way back here, but it's going to be very light. After this heavier precipitation, the darker blues move out of your area. What's left is pretty much just flurries. The real accumulating stuff is down here. But notice how all of this moisture kind of gets wrung out by the Appalachian Mountains. A lot of it gets cut off right here, and it doesn't make it past past into North Carolina and Virginia. That's going to keep you guys from dealing with a bunch of snow out of this, but there might be some places, especially just to the west of Richmond, maybe Lynchburg, Virginia, that end up seeing a couple of inches out of this as well. So our first clipper is going to be out of our hair by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, this is just going to be reduced to flurries, and we're going to think we're done. But no, look, another big clipper is up here locked and loaded in Montana, bringing heavy snow into Rapid City by 6 p.m. And then look at this. I'm going to go all the way out to 1 p.m. on Saturday. And here is our next sneaky clipper, man. This wasn't even on our radar a couple of days ago, but now we're talking about another potentially more powerful thin band of snow setting up from Des Moines all the way over to Indianapolis, Dayton, Ohio, Chicago around 1 p.m. on the 13th. This will impact travel. It's not going to be a blizzard. It's not going to be a shutdown storm, but I'm telling y'all right now, this one will be felt if you live in the path here. And this is as far out as our future radar goes, but it's going to continue to dive down to the south and east. And this one actually might bring more snow into the mid-Atlantic regions. All right, so let's talk about how much snow we're going to see here. So this is just for that first clipper by 7 p.m. tomorrow. We could be talking about in some places south and west of Indianapolis being over 4 inches of snow. So I'm going to say if you're in like the blue shading here, I'm going to say 2 to 4 inches is what you can expect. And then anyone in the white area can expect anywhere from maybe a trace of snow to up to 3 inches of snow. Cincinnati, I think 3 inches is a good bet for you. Bloomington, Illinois, 3 inches is a good bet for you. Same for Peoria. Chicago, you might be too far north, but an inch of snow can't be ruled out. Davenport to Cedar Rapids, 1 to 3 inches is a good bet here. So you can kind of see the pattern there. So that's clipper 1. What if I go all the way out though? All right. So we add the second clipper on top of this. Some places might have a total snow accumulation of close to 9 inches down here in Indiana. Now, I don't know if there will be 9 inches on the ground. There will be some melting and some blowing and some drifting that happens in between each storm. But over the course of 72 hours or so, it's not going to be out of the question that a large corridor between Charleston, West Virginia, Indianapolis, and Springfield, Illinois sees, 4 to 8 inches of snow total. Cincinnati, you're also looking at 7 to 8 inches there. So I think that for both clippers, 2 to 4 inches is going to be possible in the biggest corridor. Then 1 to 3 is going to be possible outside of that. And that means that even places like Columbus, Ohio could see a total of 4 inches of snow. Chicago could see 2, 3 inches. Des Moines could see 3 or 4 inches. You know what I'm saying? So if you live in that dark blue area, especially, get ready for some snow. It's a nuisance snow. It's not going to shut everything down, but it is definitely going to be felt. And then, of course, we're going to have these lake effect machines turned on, and we're going to have over a foot of snow possible over here in western New York, over here in upstate New York. South of Watertown, there's going to be a bullseye of probably 17 inches of snow there, north of Syracuse, so get ready for that. A lot of western Michigan's going to get hit by this, so get ready for the lake effect as well. All right, so let's talk about what happens next. This right here is the story of our fall meteorological winter so far. We've had this persistent troughing in the east and ridging in the west. This has led to a very cold winter for millions of people in the east, especially up there around the Great Lakes. And it's led to an above average temperature situation down here in the southwest. Well, I think that this pattern is finally about to break down, and the GFS shows this quite well. We're going to have this big Arctic blast this weekend into early next week, and then boom, that giant ridge in the west is going to take over and kind of move across the entire country. The only place that's going to hang on to the cold air for a significant amount of time is probably going to be the extreme northeastern United States up here towards Maine. But we're going to experience, I believe, the great thaw of December 2025 as we go into the middle of December. Now, what does this look like on our temperature anomaly map? So here's that big cold blast that we're going to have this weekend. You can see that temperatures are going to be, in some cases, 40 degrees below average across the upper Midwest down into the Ohio Valley. It's going to bring temperatures down even into the southeast. And then you can see all of those above average temperatures in the west as well. If I pull this out to, let's say, December 18th, some of the places that are going to be 40 degrees below average on December 18th, so a week from now, it's the complete opposite, where we could be 30 to 40 degrees above average. That is going to feel like quite the weather roller coaster out there in Missouri in Illinois and places like that. But you can see that pretty much everywhere, even Maine, 7 days from now, is going to be dealing with above average temperatures. And these are significantly above average temperatures as well. And there are some indications that this pattern will stick around for quite some time, maybe even all the way through Christmas. Look at that, man. Oh my gosh. A Christmas heat wave, son, potentially here on the GFS. Now, that's not, we can't verify that yet. That's a little bit far out, but you can see where we're headed. CPC outlook for the 8 to 14 day range continues to highlight this story for us. Get ready for the great thaw of December 2025. If you're excited about this, let me know in the comments down below. If you're not excited about this, just know that we still ain't made it to winter yet, okay? So this does not mean that winter's over or anything. We had a really brutal start in the east. We're going to have more cold shots, okay? This is normal. This is expected. This usually happens in fall, early fall, but we've just kind of moved things around a little bit here. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.